Okay, so this video is going to be taking a look at using an Arduino with a button and having an LED on side, and when you press the button it's going to light up the LED. So if you go to your code, let's open your code. So if I go open up my code and I change it to only blocks, what I've done is I've taken this apart. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to have the forever loop. So that's just going to go around and around. And in an example here, I have some comments in here, and we're going to build it a little bit different than this. But if you follow the process, is in the forever loop, comments don't mean anything, so this is basically irrelevant right here, but you can read it. And then you're going to set the button state to be equal to what the digital read is. So in other words, it's going to look at the value of pin 2, and if it's high, it's going to do one aspect. If it's low, it's going to do another. So what's the next part is that you're going to make this if statement. So it reads like this. If button state, which was set to whatever the value pin 2 was, then if it's high, it's going to do the first part, and if it's low, it's going to do the second part. Does that make sense? Okay, so we'll move this out of the way. So we need to bring an if statement in and set it here, there. And in this if statement, it's going to be using this shape. So now I should show you where you get all these items from. So the forever loop is either when you bring this out, it's going to be, the forever loop's going to be there already. And then the if statement is down there. There's a few of them. So there's if then, and then there's if then else. So we're going to use the else one. And then for the math statements, we're going to use this one. You can tell by the shape, and you're going to place it in. So typically you're looking for, if it has a particular shape, then it can go in a certain spot. So if button state is equal to, now you got to drop down so you can choose what you want, is equal to high. So high is down here, and it also could be low. So it kind of pops in place. What I did forget is this purple thing. So this is a variable. So we're going to use this right here, and I guess I should separate this. See if I can. So it doesn't seem to like me to separate it, but this is the same as this one, so it's set. So we're going to put that in the forever statement before the if statement. So, and we have a drop down. Any variable in there, you can select that, but it has a default one already. So then this purple one, I guess, is an input. So it's read digital pin. So we're going to get read digital pin. And these are read analog pins. So over here, the ones without a letter on them are the digital, and over here are the analog ones. So we're going to take that and put it in here, hopefully. Okay, so if you're going to read digital pin 2, so that's the value at pin 2, then we're going to store it in memory. And then we're going to check to see what that value was. If it's high, then we want pin 13 to be high. And if it's low, then we want pin 13 to be low. And we got to change this, so you can scroll down and you can see that there's all the analog ones. And so now I should be able to run this code, and when I press the button, two things should happen. So one of them is when I press the button, this LED is going to go high because it's connected to pin 13, and you'll also notice that this built-in one goes high. So now what if we wanted to change it to a different pin? if I wanted to change this to pin 33, then how would the program change? So I would have to read pin 3 instead of pin 2. And I would still store it in memory. And then if I was to check to see that it works, I hit play and it still works. Okay, I'm going to stop simulation. Now what if I wanted it to be pin 12? So I would move this over and I would have to change set pin 12 to high, and this one would be set pin 12 to high, and then I hit play and then I see, and it still works. Okay, but you'll notice that the built-in one doesn't work anymore. So now can you duplicate this so that it would be 2 buttons? So you might have to stop simulation. You could try duplicating this block. So if you duplicate this block and then separate it, you could pull this one down and place it in. Now we're going to need another button state. And you could easily change this back to 2, or you could go to 4. If we go to variables, we want to create a variable. So we could call this button 2 and click OK. And then you could do the drop down so that this is button 2. And then you could have another if statement in here. So you could bring that in, and you could have a situation for button state 2 by just bringing that in. Okay, so now the beginning of the program, it's going to read both button states. If this one's high, it's going to change the button or 12 to high, and if this one is going to be high, we could change it to a different one. So let's duplicate this. Actually, I'll just grab another one, and I can just attach it to this resistor if I want to. I can change that color to black, and then I can bring this down to pin 11, and we'll give it another color. And then I don't know if I've shown you this enough times, but you can move your LEDs, and this will still have that resistor working to the ground. It's not necessarily best practices, but it should work. And then you could bring your switch out, and you could bring a resistor out. So now this resistor value is 10K, so we would have to set this as 10K. You could get other values, but so now we would just run our wire. Now pay attention to where it's going to go with the switch. Okay, so we need to have this side of it going to ground. So I can hit 1. Now I can join it right here because it's going to be a common ground. And I can take this side of it and I can go either to this part here, or I can bring it all the way back to the 5 volts. Excuse me. Okay, so we have the switch almost hooked up, and let's go with orange just to keep consistent. Okay, so is it ready to go? We're going to open up our code and we're going to hit play, and if I press this button, one lights up. If I press the other button, the same one lights up. So what did I do wrong? Well, I haven't changed it to pin 11, so we're going to stop the simulation, and we're going to change this to pin 11. And then we're going to see if it works. So if I press this one, 11 lights up, and if I press that one, 12 lights up. And there's no way to press them both because I can't do that at once. So your task would be to hook up a third button and to see if you can get it to work, and a third LED. You can do this on a breadboard, or you can do it just the way it is now. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. If you want to, you can take a screenshot of this part if it helps you at all or not. Anyways, good luck, have fun.